Welcome to this class. It's all about connecting to the truth. Um, I'm sort of speechless when I bring up that topic because there's so many versions of truth that are flying around our national scene, our world scene. And it's gotten me to think a lot about the nature of truth. I think one aspect you can think of is, well, everybody has their own truth, or we all get guided in our own way. And yet I do readings all the time, and there is a certain, what I would call almost a vibration of truth, where I'll be talking on the phone to somebody I've never met. They haven't told me anything about them. And the guides will tell me to say something to them. And sometimes it can be like, ugh, oh my God, am I supposed to say that to them? But I do. And then there's this almost this sigh of relief, because even though what I said may have been sort of horrible, like your husband's cheating on you, or do you know your brother took all your money or something like that. But no, that's not all the time. But it's kind of like there's a huge relief when we hear truth. And I think that's because truth is sort of an energy. It's a spiritual energy. And the more we can align ourselves with truth, the more we can align ourselves not only with our truth, but the way we see truth in the world, it sort of brings a spiritual development to it. It raises our frequency. It allows us to see things clearly. I think it also allows us to succeed because we're sort of connecting with our own truth, and we're going forward in life in that way. Um, I worked a lot with people with addiction problems, and always the thing that comes up with addiction is denial. And it's the idea that they deny they're in addiction, and they'll tell everybody, oh, I don't drink, or I don't do drugs, or I don't do this, or it's fine for me. And always I thought that's the denial. But I've been thinking lately that it's kind of like the cart before the horse. It's more like, if you live in denial, if people around you are representing things that don't feel right to you, if they see you in a way that doesn't feel right to you, if it feels like they aren't really seeing you, or they aren't really appreciating your truth, if we live in a life where we feel there's some denial, so we're going to a job, if we don't really like it, we're suppressing some emotions about that, we get locked into a denial. We get locked into saying, okay, my life is fine, this relationship is fine, um, my the way I talk to myself is fine, but deep down we know it's not fine. So that's a level of denial that we all sort of have to cope with at some point in our life. And now I'm beginning to think it's the denial that leads to the addiction. It's having to live with less truth that upsets our spiritual being to such a degree that we start to be in pain. So what do we do when we're in pain? I have a glass of wine. I don't know about you, but if we feel pain, then that's where we want to sort of numb ourselves out. That's where we want to block it out. So I sort of devised an exercise for today where we can tune into our truth about certain things in our life. Now, of course, we have to do that all the time. We talk to somebody on the phone, we hang up and we think, what's my truth about that person? Do I agree with what they said? We wake up in the morning, we're with our family presents us with a certain role that we have to play, or a certain obligation. And then when we're by ourselves, we think, well, is that my truth? Do I want that role? Do I want that obligation? Of course, that expands out to our job, our community, um, where we live. So always, all the time, we're assessing our own truth. Now, how do I assess my own truth? I was thinking about that today. Um, you'd think you'd go to your brain to assess truth. And hey, I went to college, I assess a lot of truth through my brain. But real truth I really don't go to my mind. I really even don't go to my heart, because your heart can be a little deceptive. If you really love somebody, or if you're hoping to get somebody's love or approval, we can sort of hedge on the truth. We can hedge on what we think we're seeing or experiencing. I think the place to really get to the truth, at least for me, is my stomach. Um, Mainly because my stomach will start to feel really upset if I start to do something that isn't right for myself. Or if I'm with somebody in a conversation and I start to feel something in my stomach, I'll kind of know this isn't good for me. Something here is off. As I teach chi, life force energy work, I become very aware of the fact that when chi is flowing through our body, through all of our chakras, we feel this expansive energy. We feel like we're expanding. And I think that's the best way to describe when I feel like I'm in spiritual harmony, or I'm around the energy of truth, because I feel relaxed. I feel comfortable. I feel like I'm seeing things correctly. I feel just an expansive feeling, of course, which leads to joy or happiness. When I feel more constricted, when I'm around somebody that's upsetting me, who's trying to dominate me, if I feel like I'm in the wrong job, if I show up for work and I think, oh my God, this isn't for me, where do I feel that? I feel it in my stomach. I start to feel uncomfortable. I start to feel constricted. And we all know what constricting feelings are. Our throat gets a little caught. We don't really feel we can say what we want to say. Our heart may feel a little heavy. Our stomach might start growling or feel a little tense or tight. Some people we get around can be very dominating, and the way they dominate us is to put forward their version of the truth, and they want us to accept it. The worst case of that is, people who insult us or want us to play a certain part in a family, to where every time we're with them, we have to be that person. So naturally, you start to feel constricted. You start to feel your mind pulling in, your throat pulling in, your heart pulling in. Um, so I think our body is a pretty good indicator of truth. And I also think the more we pay attention to it in little situations or big situations, the more we can sort of come back to our center and just say, does this sound right to me? Does this feel right to me? Do I want to keep doing this? Do I want to keep talking to this person or not? If you know what I mean. But it's also very interesting how abusive people, one of the ways we do get abused is somebody tries to control our truth. We can say, I don't feel like that. And they'll say, of course, you got to go do it. We say, this is my opinion on something. And they might say, wow, you're really stupid. That's a really dumb idea. I mean, hey, we've all experienced this. I'm not, it's not news. But when you think about it, abusive people, and I don't know quite why they're doing that, but we'll just bypass that for the moment. A lot of times they try to control our truth. They try to substitute a truth. And you see that a lot in families where there's sort of one party line, one elephant in the room. Again, we're going back to denial, where people don't talk about something, or this is accepted, this isn't accepted. It seems very benign. At the same time, we can get caught into these places where we feel we aren't quite living our truth, and we don't really know how to be around these people and still stay in our truth. Sometimes family get-togethers can be really, and full of anxiety because we don't know how to hold our truth. And certainly you see the typical dictator of a country, the first thing a dictator will do is try to suppress the truth. He'll try to suppress public opinion, try to take over newspapers or public opinion so that everybody has to agree on something. So we all need to know that in a smaller scale, in a family, we don't need to get somebody's love by agreeing with them. We can still have our truth. We don't need to love them show our love for somebody by going along with their truth. We can hang on to our own truth. And if everybody gets their energy from spirit, from divine energy, we can feel this energy of truth going through us, and we can coexist with each other. We can coexist with each other in a family, in a relationship, in a community. We can live our truth, and we can feel safe in this energy because we've sort of lifted ourselves up to get into this higher frequency. So that gets to another part of this exercise, which is how do we stay in that higher frequency? How do we keep connecting with our truth? Well, there are many ways that we connect to a higher frequency: meditation, prayer, working with certain avatars, teachers, having our own spiritual practice. I think the most important part of our connection with the light is to slowly connect with our guides, our angels, our spirit beings, whatever you want to call them, that will give us information, that will allow us a channel of truth. We might just call it inspiration. We might wake up in the middle of the night and get an idea. We might go to dinner with our Aunt Gertrude and suddenly get an idea of, like, oh, I don't have to listen to her stuff. I can just talk about something else and I can protect myself. Guidance comes in all different ways. The important part is to continue our connection to our guidance, continue our connection to our spirit, so that we get stronger and stronger. We can stay in this expansive mode. We can fill ourselves up with light. We can stay connected with our own truth and sort of constantly monitor that so that we never quite get ungrounded or out of our own truth. So I want to guide us in a meditation today where we're just going to, first of all, get into our own energy. And then I want us to step into a place where we can connect with our own truth. And more as a habit, because I know you're all spiritual, you all do your own meditations, more as a habit of thinking, okay, if I really don't know about a certain person or a certain situation, let me go back to a meditation. Let me connect a little bit higher. Let me see what I feel about something. And I think one of the most important parts is that our truth is okay. We can be around people that devalue our truth, invalidate our truth, make us feel our truth is wrong for some reason. So that's another reason we stop listening to it. We get shamed. We think, oh, gee whiz, I want to be loved by this person. I better just cut that out. So the more we connect with our divine energy, the more our voice becomes validated. It becomes an important part of ourself. We can come up against all kinds of conflicts or problems or people in our life, but if we stay connected to our truth, if we feel we deserve our truth, we deserve our voice, we deserve our own energy, and it's okay, we're safe to express it, that really solves about 90 to 95% of our problems. Just being able to ground ourselves in our own truth. So if we're all having joined the class and we're all ready, I just want to go into a meditation now. So everybody, if you want to get comfortable, I'm just going to be talking away here, so get comfortable, and I'll guide us all through it. So if we're all ready, I just want you to take a deep breath. Let's connect with our breathing. One of the greatest ways to get to our stomach, our gut feelings, how our body feels, take a check-in in our body, is just by breathing. So let's close our eyes and just breathe now. Simple exercise here. We're breathing. Breathe way down into your body. Take a moment of silence and just see how you feel today. I want you to take a deep breath and pull it all the way down through your chest to your belly. Imagine it almost as going down your legs to your toes. Our whole body is filling up with air. Our whole body is filling up with oxygen. We're just floating in this beautiful, beautiful oxygen. Just breathe it in. Just feel the parts of your body relax if they've been tense. We're just breathing very slowly and easily. If you feel any emotions in your body, because usually breathing will bring us in touch with how we're feeling, just breathe through those emotions. We're going to release them in the meditation. If there's anything that's coming up for you, just breathe into it. Now I want you to take a deep breath, and when we pull that breath all the way in, I want you to hold the breath. Just hold the breath in stillness. Ah, let it out. Let's pull in another breath. And when we pull it way, way into our body, hold the breath. Ah, let it out. Now we're going to roll our head on our neck. That means we're just relaxing our head and we're rolling it around. There might be kinks in your neck. There might be little tense places. So just roll very easily. Just stretching your neck muscles. Your head is loose and limp, loose and limp. Now we're going to roll your head the opposite direction. Again, just rolling your head around in a big circle. Just stretching your neck, just relaxing your neck. Now we're doing the opposite. We're going to be very tense. We're going to squeeze our shoulders right up under your ears. Squeeze as hard as you can, hard as you can. Now let them drop. Let's do that again. Squeeze your shoulders way up to your ears. You feel all this tension through your shoulders. Now let them drop. Now we're going to raise our hands up right up to the ceiling. I want you to feel a stretch through your back, your shoulders, your arms, way up to your hands. Stretch a little more, stretch a little bit more. And now our hands are going to float down very gently and slowly. It's because they're weightless. It's like two snowflakes coming down because your whole body is weightless. It's like the air is filled with snow and you can't push your hands down through the snow. You're just suspended. You're suspended in air. Every part of your body is weightless. You're just drifting. You're just floating. Feel that all the way through your body. There's no weight in you at all. Now, if you're seated, I want you to rotate on your hips. We're leaning forward to the side, to the back, and then to the other side. If you're lying down, just put your attention on your hips and just feel an energy moving through your hips. You're just relaxing your lower back. You're stretching out your lower back. Everything is just getting relaxed. Just move around in a big circle. You're stretching out your back, and if there's any little tense places or places that hurt in your lower back, just be very gentle. Just go over them very gently. Now we're going to go in the opposite direction. Just making a big circle. Just leaning back, leaning to the side, leaning to the front, leaning to the side again. Just going around and around. Everything's getting very relaxed. There's a softness that's coming into your back. It's just stretching out and feeling very alive. Now we're going to just sit up straight, or you can lie back again if you want to. What we're doing now, we can all do, because all we're doing now is feeling our body. What does it feel like today? And do you feel any little feelings of energy since we were stretching? I want you to imagine a bright, bright light coming through the top of your head and just flooding your body with light. There's so much light, it rushes down your legs, it rushes down your arms, it swirls around your heart. We're calling in this light from Creator, Goddess, Great Spirit, divine energy just pouring into your body. We're calling in your guides and your angels to allow you to connect with them today and to feel this beautiful divine energy and understand the energy of truth. But for now, just feel this energy pulsing through your body. It can be hard to feel, but think of it like champagne. It's effervescent, but it's constantly in your body. If you have a hard time with the image of light, just imagine yourself under a waterfall where the water is pouring down on you, or you're on a hillside and the wind is blowing right through you. If you have a hard time with images, put your hand on your pulse. There's energy there in your pulse. It's pulsing over and over and over again, full of your chi, your life force energy. Now I want you to imagine it flooding out of your heart and flowing all around you. This is your energy field, and you carry it around every day, whether you realize it or not. When light hits it, it's called your aura. Now, how does your energy field feel? Take a moment and see if you can feel it or see it. It can be close to your body. You might feel very vulnerable. You might feel very safe and feel energy coming out a foot or two all around you. Take a moment to put your attention on it and see what it feels like. If you feel a little vulnerable or you feel you need protection in your life, I want you to imagine that the light coming into the top of your head can billow out around you. You can add energy to your energy field. So if you feel like you would like a little bit more energy, a little more protection, because it's a wall of light between you and the outside world, I want you to imagine that right now. Now we're going into our heart. Our heart is kind of a generator of chi, or life force energy. That's because every moment of happiness, of joy, even just quiet contentment, creates chi. It creates this beautiful energy that keeps us going. So in the course of a week, you might have had challenges, you might have had sad moments, but you probably also had some moments of pleasure, laughter, joy, maybe even a quiet happiness of a nice cup of tea or looking at the sunset. So I want you to think about those moments right now. I want you to go into your heart and I want you to think about the happy, joyful, even just content moments you've had in the last week or two. And I want you to feel how they felt in your heart. Now, remember, anytime during the week that you're feeling a little depressed or a little challenged, angry, fearful, you can do that exercise. You can sort of put those thoughts aside. You can go into your heart and you can think about happy memories. People might say, wow, you're just totally escaping. I don't think so. I think you're connecting with the energy of joy, the energy of happiness, and that's really what makes your body tick. That's what gives us our health, our vision, our success is this beautiful chi energy. Now we're going to give ourselves a little bit more. I want you to see how easy it is to just constantly fill up on this positive energy. So we're going to put our hands out in front of our heart with our palms up, just like somebody's about to put an apple or an orange in our hands. But instead of an apple or an orange, it's a ball of light. It's a ball of energy. First of all, can you see that or feel it? Now give yourself a moment if this is new to you. You might just feel it by feeling the heat of your palms. You might feel a little friction there. It's okay to imagine it. Say, okay, there's a ball of light in my hands. I can't really feel it, but I'm going with it. That's okay too, because it's there. Now, what do we do with this ball of light, this ball of energy? First of all, just put your attention on it. Is it any color? Is it heavy? Is it light? Is it warm? Is it cold? Let's experience it for a moment. I want you to say to yourself, dearest God, Creator, I accept this gift of love that you're giving me today. Remember, the universe is constantly giving you energy, gifts. Now let's look at this energy we've been holding in our hand. Did it change at all? Is it changing? Is it getting heavier, bigger, different color? I want you to put that energy right into your heart. If you feel the energy or the warmth, you might feel it spreading in your heart. If you have a hard time feeling or seeing, we just have the intention where we put this energy of love right into our heart. Now let's put our hands out one more time. I want you to see another ball of light in your hands, another ball of energy. Because remember, there's an unlimited amount from the universe. Let's try that again. Do you feel anything? Is there a little warmth, a little friction, static? Is it a color? Is it a message? What does it feel like? So we say to ourselves, dearest God, Creator, I accept this gift that you're giving me today. Now, this is a gift to you from the universe today. It's very special. It's just to you. It could be the answer to a certain problem. It could be a change in a relationship. It could be prosperity, joy, comfort. It could be a coming event that you're looking forward to. So let's look at this energy in your hand. What is the message of this gift? Can you feel what gift this might be that's being given to you today? And did the energy change? Did it get bigger or smaller? Is there another color there? A new message? If you're having a hard time feeling the light, remember your pulse is right there. There's energy right there, whether you know it or not. Now we're putting that gift right into our heart. And we say to ourselves, I receive it in my heart and in my life. And we're asking our guides and angels to help us be more aware of our life force energy, more aware of the beautiful energy that comes into our body every day. And also, we're asking our guides and angels to help us accept gifts every day. All it takes is a consciousness. All it takes is an acceptance. We receive gifts. We agree to receive gifts from God, from the universe, from divine energy, whatever you want to call it. The more we allow ourselves to receive, the more we receive. So our eyes are still closed. We're still focusing on the energy of our heart. And now we're going to do a meditation which involves receiving the energy of truth. Because it is an energy, it does exist. Truth is a higher form of consciousness, and the more we connect to it, the more we can understand the truth about ourselves, our family, our purpose in life. It's something that we can constantly drink from this fountain of if we allow it, if we can perceive it, if we can keep turning towards it. So we're in our heart now. Just take a couple of deep breaths. We're feeling all this golden light in our heart. We're calling on our guides and our angels to help us understand a deeper truth about our life and to be in harmony with truth. Now, for today's exercise, we're going to think of 3 different things that we would like to see the truth about. Now, remember, this can be something from the past, the present, or even the future. The first thing we're going to look at is a relationship or a person. If you've ever wondered about a person, what they're thinking, if you're at odds with them or not, we're just going to call this person in and try to feel what the truth is about that relationship. The second thing we're going to call on is a situation. Could be, again, it could be a situation in the past, in the deep past. the present, something that you're just not sure you really understand. And the third thing we're going to look at is something that's coming up in the future. Maybe it's a decision you don't quite know how to make. You don't really understand all that's involved for something that's coming up for you. That's another place we would like to connect with truth and really see it, not only for what it is, but how it's going to affect us and if it's the right decision or not. So again, let's close our eyes. We're breathing deeply, sort of centered in your heart. Just feel that warmth in your heart. Calling in your guides and your angels to show you your own truth and help you own your own truth. Imagine now that we're walking up to the Great Pyramid in Egypt. Look at how it rises above you into the blue sky. And yet, as we climb into the entrance, it gets very, very dark. We're walking down a long, dark corridor. It's dry and dusty. It's a little hot. We're walking down the corridor with our whole group of people, but it feels a little spooky. We feel a little alone. We come to the end of the corridor, and there's the king's chamber of the Great Pyramid. We all walk in, and we feel the presence of this pyramid, only it's a pyramid of light. We're in a pyramid of light. We feel the pulsing of the light. It becomes a vortex where it's swirling and light and energy. The sides of the room starts to blur out, and we're just there in light, in energy. Feel the pulse of the energy. Feel the flow of the energy. It corresponds to the energy going through your own body. We're relaxing into this beautiful, bright light. Now ahead of you is a doorway. You make your way through the swirling light and you come to this doorway. You step over the doorway. And in front of you is a boat, a long Egyptian boat, resting in the air. I want you to walk forward and get into this boat. It's a boat of light. And now it's moving away from the dock. You're going faster and faster in this boat. It feels effortless, but you're crossing the universe, speeding past the stars, speeding past energy, speeding past light, until you come to your home planet, the place where you were born, the place where is home to you with your guides and your angels. You get out of the boat, you walk up some golden steps, and there you are in a huge hallway. There's a long table there. At the table are your guides and your angels, maybe loved ones that have passed, everyone that is connected to you in love, in spirit, in divine energy. And I want you to sit at the end of the table. And I want you to speak now to these assembled light beings, your angels, the highest people that connect with you every day. And I want you to tell them the truth, your truth about this relationship, about this person that's on your mind. Now remember, you can speak in confusion. You can say to your guides that you don't know what the situation is. You don't know how you feel about this person. But this is a moment for you to just say your truth. Say how you feel. It's a completely safe environment for you. So let's take a moment now. Look at the faces of your angels, of the loved ones around you. And this is the moment you can open your heart. You can speak of your emotions. You can say what you don't know. You can say anything, even if it doesn't make any sense, because this is your divine team. Just tell your truth. If you feel that you have said everything you want to say, if you've unburdened your heart, now your main guide, your main angel is giving you a golden box. I want you to take that golden box and I want you to open it. Inside that golden box is a bright, bright light, a golden light of truth. As you open that box, you're going to understand the truth about this relationship. You're going to accept the truth. If it doesn't come in words, if it's just brightness, I want you to take that light, I want you to take that box and just put it in your heart. You're owning your own truth. You're owning the divine truth. That box, that light is in a safe place in your heart. It's always going to be an anchor, a foundation for you to always refer to. It may change as the relationship changes, but it's always going to be a beacon of truth for you. Now I want you to take a deep breath. You're still at the table with your angels. I want you to shift your mind now to a situation, either a situation from your past or your present that you really are confused about or you don't understand. And I want you to start telling your guides, your loved ones, your side of it. You can even say, I don't understand this. I don't know what to do. But I want you to take one situation and I want you now to speak your truth about it. You're completely safe in this beautiful golden light. You can let out any emotions, any contradictory feelings, any confusion. Just speak what you feel. Now in front of you, an angel is giving you a golden box. You reach down, you open the box, and inside there's just a blinding light. It's the truth about this situation. The light hits your mind, you're filled with truth, and you can put the golden box right into your heart because the golden box is light. Just put it right into your heart. It's healing, it's restoring, it's energizing, it's aligning you with your deepest self. And it's going to create an anchor of truth and groundedness that's going to continue to feed you and inform you from now on. So breathe right into your heart. All that beautiful light is in your heart. Now for our last question, we're at the table with our guides, our angels, our loved ones. There may be something coming up in the future that you don't quite understand. You don't know if it's going to happen. You don't know what choice to make. I want you to start talking to your guides about it now. Anything that's on your heart about it. Just open up and express what you feel. Remember, you don't have to just have rational thoughts that you tell your guides. You can tell them your feelings, even if they're contradictory feelings. Just say what you feel. Now your angel presents you with a golden box. Again, take the golden box, open it up, and see the beautiful light within it. Now remember, we've been telling our guides our truth. We haven't been asking them what to do, what to think, what to say. We want to align with our own truth. And this beautiful light, this beautiful energy is our own truth. So I want you to put that beautiful golden box and that light right into your heart. You accept it, you receive it. What you're accepting is the energy of truth. You want the highest vibration possible so that truth is constantly flowing through you. It's constantly writing your perceptions, providing direction, kind of a compass for your everyday life, grounding you, letting you know what you value, what you want, what you think, and what's right for you, and constantly calling in your guidance. Let's just feel the energy of that beautiful golden box right in your heart. Take a breath and feel all that light in your heart. We're calling on your guides and your angels now to constantly flood you with truth. It may not come in the form of a conversation with your guide. You might just wake up at 4 in the morning and get an insight. You might pick up the phone and call someone and get a whole new opportunity. You might suddenly get a flash of insight about something that makes perfect sense. You're opening your whole soul to the constant flow of truth, of your truth, and to constantly come in alignment with it. So let's breathe that beautiful energy right in our heart. We're feeling that warmth all through our heart. We're feeling the warmth flow all throughout our body. We're asking our guides and angels to heighten our perception of their wisdom so that we can constantly tune into divine energy and divine wisdom. Keep breathing. Our body feels warm all over now. We're safe in a cocoon, a bubble of truth and light, and we will continue to be safe and protected. We're slowly coming back to the room now. Stretch, breathe, breathe way down into your body. When you feel ready, just open your eyes. You'll have some time now to maybe write down in your journal or get a little tea. We'll be coming back with Jim's meditation at 5 after the hour. So take a little break now, and we'll be reconvening at 5 after 3 Pacific time. Okay. Oops. Okay. Well, welcome back. And I was telling Abby when we took a break, I go, I don't even know where to go after that. I'm too relaxed. That was really nice. Anyway, for those who don't know me, my name is Jim McCarthy, and Abby and I work together. We've been doing this teaching online together for a couple of years, but we both taught independently for probably about 15 years. And Abby brings across a very gentle, divine, feminine, um, very pleasant. That was a really pleasant meditation. And
I was thinking about it in the break. I was like, well, she covered pretty much everything. But so I thought, well, what do I want to go over? And so, with me, what my guys always tell me is that my my spiritual gift has more to do with clearing out things that are blocking that connection to light, that are blocking the connection to you having access to your truth. And last time Abby and I did a live event, like a weekend live event, was in Idlewild. And we were driving up the mountain. We're doing one next month too. But we were driving up the mountain and I really don't prepare too much. I just kind of ask, okay, what am I teaching? And I ask my guides. And so we were driving up the mountain and I was kind of thinking I hadn't given much thought to what we were gonna, what I was gonna teach. And so I asked my guides, I said, what are we gonna teach, or what should I teach this weekend? And this real big main guide came in and said, don't worry about it, I'm teaching it. And I'm like, huh? And I could feel the presence of this energy. And he's like, this is my weekend, you know, just follow your guidance. And I'm like, okay. So we got there and, opening meditation, there was a whole ton of energy in the room, and I was just kind of guided every step of the way of what to say. And then the next day, same thing. There was energy the whole weekend. And at the end of the weekend, when we were, I think when we were driving back, the same guide came in and said something along the lines of, if you can get out of the way and you can stay connected to your highest self, everything comes with grace. And you'll know what to say and you'll know what to do without having to take thought. And I was like, okay. And then he said, didn't this weekend demonstrate that? And I said, yeah, it did. I was like, did you have to think about this? No, I didn't. And it was like, okay. And then so I asked the question. I said, so why is it so hard in day-to-day life sometimes? And he said, because you let your little self get in the way. And I was like, huh. And he said, as long as you're identifying with your ego or your little self, you'll struggle. But if you can connect to the highest part of you, the light within you, and ask it just to lead you and just kind of go before you in situations, you'll be given the right thoughts and the right information, and really you'll kind of know what the best choices are, because you've given permission from a guidance that knows everything. And I was like, okay. And he goes, so how do you want to live life? Do you want to try to figure it out yourself, or do you want to be connected to this all-knowingness that can lead you down the path? And I said, the latter. And he said, good choice. Okay. So really, when I was thinking about this class, that's what came up in my mind, was that experience. And I had that same experience running my companies. And it was like I'd bring someone in to interview and they'd sit down and I'd hear, don't hire them. And I'd be like, oh, okay, why? Well, ask them this question. So I'd ask them the question and then they'd answer. And I would know without a doubt that they weren't the right fit for the job. So, it's like we all have this all-knowingness within ourselves. We all have this complete, perfect truth within ourselves. And it knows exactly what we need in every situation. It knows what's the best for our highest good in every situation. And it knows how to navigate you through challenges in life and, bring about healing in almost every challenge that you go through. And so the question is, well, how do you how do you work with that part of you, and how do you stay connected to it? Okay. And being someone that focuses mainly on clearing things, to me, it's all about constantly, being aware of what's going on in you, inside you. So if you're emotional, if you're afraid, if you're angry, if you're frustrated, if you're full of hate or anything of those type of emotions, the only truth about that is that you're not connected to light at that point. Okay, you're not really connected to your highest self. You're not connected to your guidance. Emotional charges are definitely communication that you're in a wound. And so it's like with Abby's meditation last hour, she was taking you to this place of being at peace and being connected to light, and then just saying, now speak your truth, right? So it's no different when you recognize you're in a wound. Okay? When you're in a wound, there's that disconnect, and you're feeling less than. Like if you're in an emotional wound, you'll realize that there's a part of you that's believing something about another person or yourself that isn't that probably isn't best for your highest good, right? In relationships, if one person's in a wound, it's okay. If both people are in a wound, it usually creates problems. Okay. So it's one of the things to attuning ourselves with the light within us and the truth within us is to start to recognize when we're not in it, when we're not in alignment with it, when we're not at peace. Okay. When we're at peace, we're naturally connected to our guides, to our angels, and we have pretty much right thought, right action, and clarity without really having to work at it. Where it becomes hard is when you're in a wound. And when you're in a wound, it's like, okay, I don't feel good. And the natural tendency of the mind is to try to fix it, try to change the outside world, try to do something to make the feeling go away. Okay. And the heart work, it's the first choices and the first step is to call in your guides and angels and call in the divine presence to reconnect with the light within you. I mean, it's not somewhere outside of you, but sometimes when you're disconnected, what you need to do is learn to reconnect. And the way you reconnect is to realize it's always there and then turn to it. Okay. Like when I was driving up to Ottawa, I turned to my guides and I said, okay, what should I teach? Right? They didn't just pop in and tell me. And sometimes, like Abby said, it happens right then, and sometimes it happens at 4 a.m, or sometimes it might take days for something to clear in order for clarity to take effect. But the truth of the matter is, until you're clear, keep calling in your guides, keep calling in your angels, keep calling in the divine, and just be honest, completely honest, and say, look, I don't know what to do. Please lead me for my best and highest good. Please bring about divine resolution. Please light up my path. Little things like this, and when you say them from your heart and you truly mean them, you create miracles by that because you're accessing an all-knowing consciousness that knows exactly what you need, and it knows how to heal exactly what you're facing. Okay. So I remember one time I was wanting to lose weight, and I asked my guides and angels, please help me to lose weight. Right. And I thought it was just going to fall off. So I was like, oh yeah, this is cool. So I was walking through the pharmacy a couple days later, and I saw this magazine, and it was like, buy that magazine. And it was like Men's Fitness or something. And it had an article in it about a program that you could go through that would really heal your body and help you lose weight. And so I read it and I was like, well, yeah, that sounds really cool. I said, but I want this to come from spirit. I don't want to have to work for it. And I ended up doing it and it worked. I lost like 30 pounds and I felt really good. And, so it's like the guidance wasn't exactly the way I expected it to come, but it came and gave me exactly what worked for me. Okay. And it knew what worked for me. Okay. So when you start to, like, one of the things Abby and I do is the first thing when we wake up in the morning, we meditate and we connect to the divine, we connect to the Holy Spirit, we call on our guides and angels, and we basically just surrender the day and say, look, please lead us, guide us, direct us, protect us each and every second of this day. And then we just sit in that energy and we allow it to connect us. And sometimes it kind of tells us things about our day. And sometimes it brings people in that we're working with currently that need help. And we'll bring them into that energy and they'll get help. And, sometimes it'll just tell us things that we need to know. But it's like our mind is really a transmitter and a receiver. It's not its own consciousness, right? And whatever we tune it into is what we start to receive. So to receive truth, you want to tune it into a light source. You don't want to be, connected to a wound and trying to navigate your wound and thinking from that vibration, you won't get any truth out of it, right? So you want to consciously just ask for the divine presence to come in, or the Holy Spirit, or whatever name you have for a consciousness that's all loving, that's all knowing, that's all powerful, and that really wants for you to live a healthy life in peace and love and in joy. Okay, that's what this consciousness that we're talking about does. And then it's all about just trusting it and just asking it to make its presence known. And when you do that often, you develop a very strong connection. And as you develop that strong connection, it gives you grace on almost everything you face during the day. Okay. It's really your highest and truest self. But if you don't connect to it, you kind of get lost and you get confused and um, you get caught up in the mind, really, is what happens. Okay. Or you get caught up in a wound and you keep trying and trying and trying to make the wound go away. But in reality, you're fighting in the same vibration that your wound's in. Okay. So, like yesterday I had a wound come up and it was a feeling of fear. And I just called in the divine, I called in the guides and angels. I offered the fear to them. Okay. And I asked them to take it from me and heal all of the thoughts associated with it, all the memories associated with it. And within about 3 or 4 minutes, I felt clear again and I knew what to do in the situation, right? But it was just a situation that came up that required a choice. And I wasn't sure about what to do. I wasn't sure what was the best choice. And I noticed that fear came up, so I cleared it. And then I had clarity once it was clear. Okay, so it's really about connecting to this high source and continually granting it permission to clear away anything that's not of your light, anything that's not of your truth, or anything that no longer serves you. And it knows exactly what those things are, right? So back when I was studying mysticism, one of the words they used a lot was consciousness, right? And they were talking about, you know, to look at the consciousness of an individual. And I was like, what's that mean? Right? Everything was about consciousness. And so I contemplated that word for probably several weeks. And I asked my guides for clarity on it. I was like, what does this word consciousness mean? And I finally got the lesson. And the lesson was that everybody has like every soul has their own consciousness. And that consciousness consists of adopted belief systems, memories, previous experience they had that they've made perceptions and evaluations from. And also like karma that they haven't experienced yet. So like, meaning that you might have had a traumatic experience in your life that you couldn't quite feel the energy that was associated with it, and it's stuck in your energy field. So that becomes part of your consciousness. And a lot of us, what we do is we try to avoid ever having that feeling, so we control our environment. And reality is, if we just offer that feeling to the light, it'll just take it out of us. And there's no more karma. Karma just means something that isn't experienced or fully experienced. And it isn't necessarily anything bad. It could be something that's really good that you haven't experienced, right? So, but it just means that it's something that is in your life's path that you will experience one way or the other. Okay. That's part of an individual consciousness. Then there's a collective consciousness to where it's more of, what this group of humanity has created and what they believe. So if you join a group, sometimes you'll inherit the consciousness of that group, the belief systems, the perceptions, the feelings, and you'll just kind of connect to that and you'll start thinking differently. Okay. And that's just because you've connected to that group consciousness. Okay. And then there's the consciousness of light, or all-knowing consciousness, which I would call like the Holy Spirit. And when you connect to that, you become part of that grid. And that consciousness starts to operate through you. And it starts to clear away from you anything that doesn't align itself with that truth, with that level of truth. So it starts to like heal you. It starts to shift your perceptions to where you have right thought. It starts to create more harmony in your relationships. It starts to bring more love into your life. And you realize like higher levels of truth and how to manifest without a lot of effort, right? So those are those are some of the reasons why you want to connect to your highest self on a regular basis. Because by connecting to it, you become it, and it becomes you, and you start to manifest what you wanted to create at your highest level of existence. Okay. So, and the other nice thing about connecting to that higher level of truth, or that higher level of consciousness, is you don't have to tell it what the truth is. It is the truth. Okay. So if you're misperceiving something that's causing you suffering, if you connect to this and say, look, I don't understand this, and it causes me fear, it causes me hate, it causes me this, it causes me that, will you please help me to understand it? Will you please help me to see it the way you see it? Will you please help me to look at it through your eyes, right? Sometimes that'll create an instantaneous healing to where automatically you know it. And when your perceptions change, you get an instant healing. It's not something that you have to wait for. It's like, whoa, now I see it differently and I understand it. And that feeling I had before is gone. Okay. So it's really all about aligning yourself with this consciousness of light and truth, and letting it start to operate in you, and also to bring all of your problems. So, one of the things Christ said is, give everything to me. He wasn't saying, he wasn't saying it for no reason. He was saying, give it to me, because at that level of consciousness, I can heal it. But you've got to allow me in, right? And that's really what we're talking about in terms of aligning yourself with your truth, is to open yourself up and just let light come in and be completely honest with it. It won't judge you. It's not going to punish you. It knows where you are, and it knows where you want to be, and it's the bridge. So it'll help you figure it out. And in terms of like manifesting, if you keep bringing something into the light that you truly want to manifest, and you just ask for help manifesting it, you will, right? It'll eventually, your thoughts will start to change, and you'll start to get clarity on exactly what it is that you want to create, and things will start coming into your life by grace to enable it to happen, right? If you need money, money will come. If you need a relationship will come. If you need a job will come, but it'll come. Okay? It's just a matter of just getting into the light and saying, okay, this is what my truth is. This is what I want. This is what I need help with. Help. And then you get help. Right. And that's, it's like one of my teachers, she's an avatar, and she says, surrender isn't weak. It's the most powerful thing you can do, is to surrender and say, I don't understand how to do this. Please help. because in that void, when you're empty, is when light can fill you, okay, and truth can fill you. So I want to go through a meditation as well, and in the meditation, I just want to work on helping to create an environment that will clear from you any thoughts and any wounds that are blocking your connection to light, and or making it to where it's not super clear. And then I also want to, somewhat like what Abby did, bring some situations that you're currently facing into this light and asking for help, asking for clarity, asking for transformation, especially where you're stuck. Okay. So let's all get comfortable again. I'm gonna adjust my chair so I don't fall out when I lean back. Okay. And just take a few minutes just to take a couple breaths. Just breathe in and feel the breath come into your body. You can even hold that breath in your body and just feel it in there. Feel the energy of it. And then release the breath. Now take another breath. Breathe in a fresh breath of oxygen. Breathe it all the way down through your body, down into your legs. And just hold that breath. Let that breath expand in your body and nourish all your cells with oxygen. And then release your breath. And you might notice that you breathe all day and you don't have to take thought about it. And every time you breathe in oxygen, your body takes what it needs from it. And when you release the oxygen, the carbon monoxide, there's a consciousness that cleans and purifies it without you having to know the details of it. It happens automatically. And you're always connected to this all-knowing consciousness. It hears every one of your thoughts. It knows every one of your cells. It knows everything about your relationships, your life's purpose, what you truly want. And it's always with you. It's always right here and right now. And that's where you need to be to connect to it, right here and right now. That's why it's important to be with your breath, because your breath only happens right now. It doesn't happen in the future. It doesn't happen in the past. It ising right now. You might also know that right now you're completely protected. You're safe. You have everything you need. And it's okay to relax. And let go of any concerns of the past or any concerns of the future. Just be in the present and know that right now you're okay. You're safe. And now I want you just to call in this divine presence, the Holy Spirit. Whatever name you have for a consciousness that's all-knowing and all-loving and only wants the best for your highest good. It wants you to live in love. It wants you to live in joy and abundance. Call that consciousness in. Call that light in. And just allow it to come through the top of your head, through your crown chakra. And just fill your mind with light. And on your next breath, bring it down into your throat chakra. And let it fill your throat and your voice with the light of truth, the light of health, the light of peace. And ask it just to remove anything from that throat chakra that isn't of light, that no longer serves you. On your next breath, just bring that light down into your heart chakra. And ask it to fill your heart chakra. And to fill all cells in your heart area, your lungs, your heart. And just nourish it and bring it health and vitality. Let any feelings come up in the heart chakra that need to be cleansed. Let the light just take it out of you. And transmute it into light. And ask this light to awaken your heart and to connect you strongly to light through your heart. On your next breath, I want you to bring this light down into your stomach area. We call this the will center. And just fill up this will center with light. And ask it to expand in this center. And to clear anything out of it that no longer resonates with you. Ask it to release from your will center anybody's will that was imposed on you. Any beliefs that were imposed on you that aren't of your truth. Any desires that were imposed on you that aren't of your truth. Just give this light, this consciousness, permission to completely clear your will center of anything that's not of your will. Anything that doesn't resonate with what you truly want or what's truly right for you. Just let it dissolve it. And you can ask this light, this consciousness, to bring into you inspirations that are from your highest self. Things that you truly want. Things that you truly want to experience. Ask that this will come into you. That these inspirations come in. And that you become clear as to what they are. And just give permission for this to take place in divine time. But let the seeds be planted now. And now invite this divine presence, this light, this consciousness, down into your second chakra, this area between your belly button and your pelvic bone. And just fill all that space with light. And again, ask it to gently cleanse and dissolve from you anything that no longer serves you. Anything that would block your light or block your guidance. Just give it permission to cleanse this area. And remove anything from this area that no longer serves you. And just let it fill this area with light. Now let it go down to your root chakra. Let it go back as far as it needs to go into your past. And cleanse from you anything that no longer serves you. Heal any memories, any perceptions, any beliefs that could block your guidance. That could block you from being the best that you can be. Give this light permission to go as far back as it needs to heal you, to heal your relationships, to create forgiveness in your relationships. And you may become aware that you do have the power and the choice to connect to this energy, to this consciousness, and ask it for whatever you want. Ask it for help with whatever challenges you might be going through. And give it permission to guide you, unmistakably guide you for what's best for your highest good. Now I want you to allow this light to come out from your heart and just fill your room with light. And allow this light to form a big ball of light in front of you. And just know that that's a sacred space. It has its own consciousness. And in that consciousness comes healing. In that consciousness comes harmony. In that consciousness comes grace and abundance. And this is your light. Just allow that light to fill this ball in front of you. Give it permission to expand. And just trust that it knows you. It knows your life's lessons. It knows what you truly want. It knows how to navigate you through any situation. And it will only help you. It will never harm you. And just let this light expand. And now I want you to call into this light something that you want to manifest, something that you desire. Maybe it's healing for a relationship. Maybe it's to bring a new loving relationship into your life. Maybe it's a job. Maybe it's a solution to a problem. Whatever it is, just bring it into this light. And ask the light to help you to manifest it. To heal your thoughts, your perceptions, and teach you how to manifest it. but give the light permission to lead the way. And I just want you to visualize this thing that you want to manifest in this light. And allow it to marinate in this light. If any thoughts of doubt come up or limitation, add those into this ball of light and ask that they be healed and transformed. Talk to the light. If you don't know how to manifest this, if you feel stuck, just tell it and ask for help. And most importantly, just ask it, this consciousness that knows how to create and manifest, to take charge of this and to lead you, guide you, and direct you. Each and every step of the way until this is completely manifested to what you truly want. And if you're not sure what you truly want or you're stuck, ask it to help you to understand what you truly want. Now I want you to see this already manifested. See that it's already yours exactly the way you want it. How does that feel? How does that look? How does it feel being already in its completion exactly the way you want? want you just to feel what that feels like. And as you feel it, I want you to bring this into your heart and just accept it. And accept all of the gifts from the divine and your guides and angels that enabled you to manifest this. Now I want you to manifest another ball of light out in front of your heart and allow it to grow and expand. And know that this is yours. And it's your right to have this consciousness. It comes from your higher self. And there's unlimited amounts of it. And you can call it in for anything. I want you to fill up this whole space in front of you with light. And once you feel that light, and you see that light, and you know it's operating, then I want you to bring into this light a situation in your life that you've been stuck in, that you haven't been able to change, that you've been trying to change. Or bring some kind of harmony or resolution to. I want you to bring that situation into the light. And just let it marinate. And ask for help. Ask the light for help to heal how you see this, to where you can see it through the light of truth. Ask for the light to help you with your expectations and to help you to heal your expectations to where you see it for your highest good, or whatever, however they want you to see it for your highest good. And most importantly, I want you to trust that the light knows more about this situation than you do. And it knows exactly what's best for your highest good, what your lessons are. And what is in your life. And ask the light to help you understand it, to heal it. And to heal anything in you that this is bringing up in you to be healed. Just let go of your thoughts about it, your expectation, the way you think it should be. And allow it to marinate in this light. And ask the light to bring divine resolution. And divine healing. And divine health. Ask for more awareness and more understanding. Just make sure you call in your divine guides and angels and ask them to take charge of this. Ask them to take the lead and bring about healing for your best good, for your highest good. And when you feel this is complete, or that it's in the hands of the light now, and it's being worked on now, that this consciousness is well connected to it, then I just want you to put it back in your heart. And know you're going to have divine intervention. You're going to have help. And thank your divine team for bringing that about. And just ask this light, this consciousness to bless you right now, to fill you with light. And to heal anything else that it feels would be good for you. To heal at this point. Could be something in your body. Could be a relationship. Could be something that you need comes into your life. Just let it choose what's best for your highest good and to give you that now. And then just give thanks. Thank you for this connection. Thank you for this healing. Thank you for this help. And please continue to help me. Take one more breath and just fill yourself with light. Exhale. And when you feel comfortable and complete, just open your eyes.
Hi, everyone. That was a wonderful meditation, at least for me. Does anyone have any questions about both what I was teaching and what Jim was teaching? I think you can raise your little green hand or just whatever.
Or just,
I'm
yeah.
not sure, whatever.
Or if you don't know how to raise your green hand, just raise your other hand. Most of you guys aren't on camera, but anyway. Did anybody feel the presence of energy in those meditations?
Yeah, very much. Yeah.
Did you feel a sense of peace?
Yeah.
Yeah. This is your right to connect to this energy whenever you want to, and it always brings peace, and it always brings healing. And it's just a matter of learning how to connect with it and being open to it and trusting it. And you'll be amazed at how it can create miracles that you could never think of. And it also helps you to awaken to your own gifts, your own spiritual gifts. Because as this comes into you, it automatically ignites those gifts and puts you in alignment with them. So it's really kind of a neat process. Oh, all right, I'm going to ask you to unmute. Okay.
Hi,
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. Thank you so much for this offering.
You're welcome.
I did feel the energy. I do now feel the peace. Um, I guess my question is like, I know it's a continuous process, but I tend not to have patience. And I feel like when I'm in community, I feel more of these sensations as opposed to when I'm trying to do it on my own. So
Thanks.
is it just continuing to trust the process? Perhaps, do it more throughout the day or for maybe like an hour as opposed to like, 20 minutes. Like, I know it's like no set interval, but as far as like individually, how do I just continue to foster this connection without always having to be in a communal setting where I feel
Well,
it the most?
that's going to come naturally. I mean, as you connect to this more frequently, like in the morning, if you just call it in and you connect with it and you just really truly want to feel it and know you're connected, just ask for that. Right. And then just be still and don't try to think. If you try to think, you stay in your mind and it actually blocks it. Okay. The reason why you feel it more in a community is because there's a consciousness in the community of everybody's, it's everybody's consciousness. And people that have been doing this for years and years and years, they're holding an energy grid for everybody in there. Right. It's like when we do classes, people go, well, it's a lot easier for me to access this and heal in the classes in that room than it is when I go back home. But it just takes practice. So just call it in. But the most important thing is for you to know whether you feel it strongly or not, that it is always with you. And to start to trust that. And just play with your guides a little bit and just say, please make yourselves known to me. Right? Guide me in such a way to where you build my faith in you. Does that make sense? You can ask for whatever you want, right? So play with it a little bit. But it helps to do these on a regular basis. And as you do that, your personal connection is going to get stronger. You'll feel it stronger, and your intuition is going to naturally start to awaken. Does that make sense? Abby, what do you want to add?
Yeah, I'd like to add something. I think in my process, as I was getting more and more into this work and I was more and more able to access my guides, for me, doing things for a long time, like an hour, did not work. Even 20 minutes doesn't work for me. And I started to think, well, what did work for me? I think one of the things that works for me was one thing that was very helpful was one of Jim's prayers, which was before I go to bed, he has a prayer that says, I call in my guides and angels and I give you permission to heal me and guide me. Or if also you feel you need protection, I give you permission to heal, guide, and protect me. And then you go to sleep and you're sort of more expecting a communication. You're expecting as you go to sleep, especially if you say it every night before you go to sleep, that there's sort of this band of angels or this team you've got that's going to start coming in and giving you inspiration. It might just, like I said, be a dream, a vision, a thought the next morning, something like that. For me personally, an hour chanting doesn't work. For me personally, little moments during the day, like sometimes I'll have a little mantra for myself, like not to hate myself or not to think self-hating thoughts. And if I think a thought like that, I'll just go to my mantra. I try to catch it right at the moment. And this sounds silly, but I think one really good way to connect with your guides and angels is to have fun. I know it sounds really dumb, but before I really started doing this work, I would work all week and then I'd be exhausted. And then I would drive out to Malibu to go to the beach almost every Saturday morning. And it was always on that drive that I started getting inspirations and thoughts. And, when I really just let myself relax and had some me time. Another great way to do that is by listening to music. We've been going to the symphony a lot lately, and Jim was saying it was like this huge sound bath. And it's true, like if you put yourself in another frequency, another vibration, it might not be a class, it might be music, it might be something really fun, it might be the beach, but it just unconsciously lifts you. And if you have the inner intention of just saying, I ask my angels to come in and, give me some inspiration today or something, I think it usually works. And I know what you mean about feeling stuck or impatient. That I don't have much of an answer for, except maybe that last meditation that Jim did, because that helped me a lot. I was surprised in a class about truth that Jim did a whole meditation about manifestation. But as I thought about it, I thought, really, we talk about truth, but the actual reality is that we aren't believing truth, we're believing illusion, and illusion blocks us. So naturally, if we do connect with truth, what happens? We start manifesting. that, you know, the more I thought about it, it made perfect sense.
Yeah. When you like at the beginning when I was talking about, driving back from Ottawa, and the guide's telling me that once you release these obstacles and you have that direct connection to light, you're going to manifest without a lot of effort, right? So like with you, you say, I get impatient. Okay, that usually creates frustration and things like that. Okay, so I work with prayers because prayers to me are like calling the light's phone number. Okay, so they work, right? And I understand the mechanics of it and everything else. But for you, it'd be like if you feel frustrated, then I would just call in the light and say, hey, look, I give you this frustration. Please take it out of me. And please heal my thoughts, my memories, my judgments, my opinions, my expectations associated with it. And let it start to cleanse that out because those are that's blocking your connection. Does that make sense? So start from where you're at. If you're angry and you don't feel connected, bring in the light, call it in and say, look, I give you this anger, take this out of me. And you'll be amazed after a few weeks how much it can clear your energy field and your thoughts naturally change with it. Right? It's like a spiritual cleanse. And as that happens, your connection to that light gets stronger automatically because there's nothing blocking it. Does that make sense? Good.
Yeah, I don't know if we have your email or not, but if we do, or maybe you could just type your email because Jim has written prayers
Yeah,
and that he'll send them to you if you're interested.
just
They
if you
can
want
help.
if you want the prayers, just send me an email personally at onejimMcCarthy@gmail.com. Okay. And I'll see it and it's easy for me just to reply with the prayers. I usually don't look at like all of the chat and figure that out. So if you want the prayers, I'm happy to send prayers out. Or if you just have questions, just email me or Abby the questions. You can also email us at info@infinitelight.me and we'll both get either one of those. Okay, well, I'll get either one of those. She'll get the one with the info@infinitelight.me. Okay, thank you for sharing. It usually helps everybody when people ask for things because everybody shares the same stuff. But thank you. All right, let me figure out how to do this real quick. Heidi, you're next. Let me
Hi. Yeah.
hey, hi Heidi.
Hi. Sorry, I probably have mascara all over my face now from tears from
Oh, no, you look
You're
great.
releasing.
thing. Yeah. It's great. Yeah, no, just gonna ask so remember a few weeks ago, Jim, you had the prayers. So I think I was just gonna ask if we could have the links to some of the prayers again, like the quicker versions, or you can just like kind of ask spirit to like give you connect with to help connection and guidance and everything else just to kind of start off
Yeah.
before you build into the longer meditations because I'm not
Yeah, I think his prayers are very, very helpful. I've really learned a lot from his prayers. So his email is the number 1 Jim McCarthy @gmail.com.
Okay.
So yeah, absolutely. They've helped me a lot.
Yeah. I mean, it's like prayers, the word prayer has a lot of dogma attached to it. To me, it's just like calling the light's phone number. Okay. And the prayers that I write are really meant to clear anything that's blocking your connection to light and to start bringing blessings, but it washes everything that you're asking for through light and brings help at the same time. Okay.
Thank you so much.
And I'll tell you about some of these prayers about like relationship prayers and stuff like that. When I learned them, this lady raised her hand and she was using these prayers. And it was for ancestral healing, right? And she was using this prayer for clearing the ancestral lineage. And she says, I've been using this prayer twice a day for 6 months, and I was healed of cancer. My brother was healed of alcoholism, and my mom was healed of MS, and I never mentioned their names, right? So we have to realize that we're in the world of effect. And when we clear this energy and we clear all of this data associated with the energy, the world of effect automatically changes. Does that make sense? You automatically start receiving something different and more healthy for yourself. So it really works. It really
It
works.
does
But yeah,
work.
I mean, one of the prayers I always said a lot was just, I would just call in the divine if I was stuck and just say, please lead, guide, direct, and protect me right now. Please and thank you. And that was it. And then I would just be still and receive. Okay. And
A
I
lot of
would
these,
always get it right then, but sometimes like I remember one time I said it and they said, why, you're never listening. But that was, it's a different story. But the bottom line is they always hear you. And if you're open, they will help you. Go ahead, Abby, I'm sorry.
oh, that's okay. I'm sorry to interrupt. I was just going to say that we're just about to do a weekend workshop in Idlewild, California, April 5th through the 8th. And it's like all day Saturday, all day Sunday, Friday night. And we basically do group meditations, kind of like what we just did, but also work individually for everybody's needs too. Because I really believe that one of Jim's strengths is just giving people tools. So that if you go out in the world, you face frustration, something's not happening, you're not connecting, like you said, to just get a prayer to figure out how to go forward, how to get past that emotion. That's pretty much what we teach in the weekends, and it's a really nice setting in a mountain community. So if anyone's interested in the Idlewild weekend, again, our website is www.infinitelight.me. We do other weekends over the year, but that's the first one that's just coming up.
Yeah, we're also doing a class on relationships in Palm Desert next Sunday live, and that's on our website under the class page. And we're doing one at Heart Space in Orange County the following Sunday, I think, the
Mhm.
24th. But another thing that happens in the classes that you don't really feel as much on the Zoom calls is that whole light ball of energy is in the room. Okay.
Yeah, that
So
is amazing.
so
Yeah.
everybody's sitting in the light the whole weekend. And that in itself does more healing than anything we could say. It just consciously starts lifting all of these layers out that aren't, they're not of your essence. And as those lifts out, your vibration rises and your connection to this energy becomes stronger and stronger. So that's, the real benefit, back to Christine is, or the first lady that shared is, to submerge yourself into this energy and just let it, just let it heal you. Just let it heal you. You don't need to, once you're connected, you don't have to do anything except for be open and let it heal you. And I've seen people healed of like cancer and blindness and deafness and everything else just by being connected to this energy and letting it work. And I had one lady come to one of my things like 15 years ago, and it was the first time she'd ever come. And she came and we just sat in this energy and did prayer work and a little bit of teaching. And the next week she didn't come back. And I thought, well, maybe she didn't like it. Then the next week she didn't come back. And well, maybe she didn't like it. Then the next week she came back and she goes, I came back to share what I got here. And I said, well, what? And she says, well, I had liver problems. And after sitting in this room, the next week I had all this anger and resentment just pouring out of me, and I just let it go. And I didn't know why it was coming up, but it was coming up, and I just let it go. I just kept letting it go. I knew to let it go. And she goes, I went to the doctor last week and he said my liver was perfectly normal. It was functioning in the low normal range now. And she goes, I know it had to do with this energy. How did you know I had liver problems? I said, I don't know you have liver problems, right? I don't, I mean, it's like when you come together in a sacred space, the sacredness is, it's like when we drove up to Idlewild and the guide came and says, this is my weekend. I'll do the teaching, I'll do the healing, you just be, right? And I was just like, thank you, because I don't, what you realize as you go further and further into this is that it's a big burden for you to think you have to do everything, right? And if you could just get used to calling this energy in and saying, please help me with this, I'll do my best, but you do the rest. That's really what it is. And help me with it. and you'll get the help. All it wants you to do is try, right? And if you're doing your best and you have a good intention, it's going to come in and do the rest. It really will. Does that help? Thank you. So you said you were doing some crying. Were you releasing some things in the meditations? That's good. It's really good. Do you feel better now? So-and-so? Oh, wait, you're back on mute. Hang on a second. Okay.
It's a process. It's a long healing process, but it's, you know, I think that with kind of the repetition and just getting into that practice and, you know, really dedicating like a routine for like, again, starting off small with like the shorter meditations and then gradually building into long ones, because meditation has always been my struggle with focusing, but like in groups like this is great, but when it's hard to focus. So then if I have those prayers, I just kind of start off with that and just, you know, releasing the limiting beliefs and the past traumas and, you know, things that have, you know, changed me, and it's a process. Yeah. So
I'll try to write some really short ones. I mean, I'm always praying, so it's like kind of like, you know, it's to me, it's just having a relationship, right? I mean, prayer is a relationship. And so I'll try to write some really short ones that I use just to connect to guides, right? And Abby, if you ever do a session with her, the first thing she says is a prayer to kind of invoke the energy to come in.
Connect to the light, yeah.
And she doesn't have to think after that. Everything that she needs to be shown, she's shown. And it's like it could go into past life stuff, but she clears it. Right?
But actually, for me, I mean, maybe I'm just a lazy person at heart, but I don't build up to like doing an hour or something. I find that the more I work with the light, it actually is faster and I don't spend as much time. The trick for me is more to just tune in regularly. Do you know what I mean? Like, so for me, if I tuned in for 5 minutes or an hour, the hour wouldn't make a difference. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm terrible at meditating. I know that sounds stupid because I teach it, but it's true. I like the image of light because there's always something to do. Like, I'm not very good when it comes to, you know, clearing your mind and all the stuff you're supposed to do with meditating. I'm actually pretty bad at it. But when I think about light, because I'm a visual person, and when I think of accomplishing things, I find that it works faster and faster, and I actually spend less time doing it. Do you know what I mean? Maybe you know, I'm not a very good poster child for this. But on the other hand, I find that I can connect quicker and deeper. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I can definitely feel, yeah, more with the light, I think, because then it just keeps you in tune with the now, the body, instead of the mind, just like, you know, listening to other noises or focusing on thoughts. It's just like you're trying,
Yeah, yeah.
like you feel in your body more. So yeah, definitely. And I guess if you've healed all the things you need to heal and you're doing it on a regular basis, and there's less, you know, to really pull from, right? Because you are more connected in the long run.
Yeah,
Or
for me, the
you might start
connection
healing for
that's
your family.
is important is to just not get that weird dialogue of my mind. You know, whenever I start thinking and going into my mind and quantifying and judging, it's like, nah, I don't want that. You know what I mean? That's why I think of walking in nature or listening to music. I like to spend as much time in the, I guess, in the right brain, I guess is a good way of putting it.
And do you have a prayer that you quickly access for the limiting beliefs that the tapes that come up, or?
I'm thinking probably if I do, they were Jim's prayers because he's really good at prayers. But for me, one of the most important things is when I get a limiting belief or a really negative or a self-hating view, a thought, the first thing I try to do is simply stand aside and look at it and say, oh, wow, that's a negative thought, or, oh, wow, that's pretty limiting. And then that really helps me, just that one little step. But meeting Jim, he had a whole lot of prayers to take me to the next step of like, first you identify it, and then he has ways of just like giving it to God or giving it away. So you don't have to just sit there with it. I don't know if I'm making much sense. But so yeah, I really recommend his prayers.
One thing that's like a really quick thing in terms of prayers is really the only thing you're really looking for, even in a prayer. I mean, the prayers that I do basically give permissions for the healing to occur. But if you just want a quick, like, I want to connect, right? It's just a matter of becoming really aware of the present moment. Because when you're in a wound, you're in the mind, right? And you're identifying with this self, which really isn't you, but it's your state of consciousness. Does that make sense? Right? So when you're in a wound, if you can just be present to the fact that I'm feeling this, and just notice what's going through your mind, that's all you need to do is step back that far, and you're really connected to light at that point. Okay. And the only prayer you need is like, I mean, a fast prayer is, I invoke the divine presence. Please bring light, please bring help. That's it. Right? That's you ask, but then you got to just get out of the mind and just take a minute to receive it. Does it make sense? Or take 10 seconds to receive it. Just take a deep breath and just go, okay, I need help right now. Right? And you'll get it. I want help right now, and you'll get it. They're always there, but if you don't ask, you don't get it. Does that make sense?
Thanks.
Okay. All right. Anybody else have any questions or comments, or want to share anything that happened in the meditations? No? Okay. Well, we're gonna post this class on our website under the classes page, so you can watch it for the next probably 2 or 3 months. You can go through the meditations, either through there or through our YouTube channel. Okay. And I think this class will be, under free Zoom classes to the right of it. Then underneath that will be the last 3 classes we did. Okay. And if you want more information on one-day classes, they'll be on that page. If you want more information on events, like going to Idlewild or going to, I think the next 2 we have is Idlewild. And then we're also doing kind of a spiritual tour through Ireland, where we're taking people to the stone circles and just connecting them to these different frequencies. And it's just, it's not a lot of teaching, but it's definitely a transformation of consciousness. And you get to eat at some really nice places and see some really nice sights. So that's coming up in June. And if anybody wants us to do classes in their area, just send us an email, and if there's enough people, we'll go. Right.
Well, thank you, everybody, for joining us today. It was great seeing you, Diane and
Yeah.
Heidi, and everybody that could come. It was really
Yeah,
wonderful.
thank you. And thank you for sharing too.
Yeah, thank you
And
for
anything
sharing.
questions you have, just email us.
Our next class is going to be the second Sunday of April. So I'll just be emailing all of you the information about it for the free Zoom class, and also the link.
And if you guys have any topics you want for these free Zoom classes, just send us requests and we'll kind of, see what resonates. But if you guys are like, oh, we want to focus on this, just let us know. Okay. Thank you very much.
Great seeing everybody. Thank
Yeah,
you.
Thank you. Have a good rest of the weekend.